Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Krishna, Shri Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Scientific advancement has given humanity a lot of power, a lot of sources by which we can gather more and more means of enslaving of the infinite energy for the human purpose. However, this material prosperity becomes a curse when it is not associated with wisdom. Power without wisdom makes a person an enemy of himself as well as the whole world. Therefore, there is a need that only the scientific advancement for the betterment of living is not enough. Scientific advancement for the betterment of living must be supported by the wisdom, so that the quality of life is improved. There are two things. One is the quality of living, which is dependent on the infrastructure. And second is the quality of life, which is dependent on the intrastructure. When a perfect balance between the infrastructure and intrastructure is attained, then only we have learned the scientific art of living. Normally, we take for granted because the thoughts come in my mind, I am thinking. No. Because the weeds grow in the garden, we don't call it as a garden. Garden is nothing but the plants growing. But not every plant in the garden is included. Weeds are culled out and only the required good quality plants are kept. In the same manner, in the garden of our mind, there are thoughts innumerable. Should we consider that all these thoughts put together make us thoughtful? No. On the contrary, we are thoughtfuls. And therefore, it is necessary that we have to strike a perfect balance between the material prosperity achieved through the scientific advancement for improving the quality of living and the wisdom gained through knowing the inner scientific approach, so that we are able to harvest wisdom when we interact with the world. Normally a question is asked to us. Many a times, people ask us this question. After they hear something from Gita, Panchadashi, Upanishad, the common question is asked, Swamiji, India has got such a great knowledge. In spite of all this, why India is backward? This is the question they ask. So I told them Recently this happened. I said, your question is okay from your point of view, but it should be acceptable to me. It is not acceptable to me. Who told you India is backward? Tell me. No, actually, no. In India, everything is so funny. I said, then it is happiness. It is not backward. I said, do you call it as a forward country where you have got excellent cars, but the person sitting behind the steering wheel is such a one as if he has just gulped a handful of caterpillars? Do you call that as a good life? You have got most wonderful beds. The thickness of the bed will be about 4 feet. But the thickness of the sleep is not even 4 millimeters. See? A beautiful car. Other than the spray, nobody to sit next to you. Do we call that as a life? Therefore, when this question is asked, why India is backward, normally what they say is the infrastructure wise, India is not doing well. And the question is, more than what you have, what is important is, with what you have, how you are. If you have got all the food and no hunger, see, if you have got beautiful cars but nowhere to go, if you have got an excellent house only to vacuum, nothing else, what is the use of all that? Therefore, let us try to understand what exactly we mean by living life scientifically. In this, both the things are included. The living as well as the life. See, I was talking this time, one lady asked a doctor, after my lecture was over, my lecture has got a very simple theme, be happy. And that's what makes people more miserable. And their argument and question is, try to get married and then show how to be happy. Meaning, getting married is a license to be miserable. So continue, tathastu. Yeah, no objection. So her problem was, Swamiji, you tell that rise above the body identification and discover the truth, joy that you are. But when you see your own son is going the wrong way, your daughter doesn't listen to you, and you are seeing they are suffering, but they don't listen. Under this condition, what should you do? I said, you should play jugalbandi with them. Then I told them, first principle of spiritual life. The one who becomes miserable because of anybody or anything, he is a fool of the first order. The first scientific approach to living life, don't justify that being miserable is natural. No, it is not. Then the second question, when you have come to this country, this happened in LA, when you have come to this country, for what you have come? For earning dollars. कोयले के दलाली में हाथ काले होते हैं. This mic is not doing well today. Kindly go and tell that mic fellow. I am speaking with fear because it gives in a hum. Then my hum gets heard. So, we want all the comforts associated with the dollars, but we don't want the discomforts associated with the dollars. Therefore, friends, the problem is we have got all the knowledge in this country. We all know. And yet, we don't experience that happiness. What is the reason? This is the topic taken up in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. In the 15th chapter conclusion, Bhagavan said, Etad buddhva buddhiman syat krutakrtyascha bharata. Etad buddhva, having thus known this much, you will attain fulfillment. A life which is not a fulfilled life is a frustrating life. And if we do not conclude the life with fulfillment, we have lived death. And therefore, etad buddhva, we have to know this. What are the things that we have to know? We have seen in the 15th chapter, I'll just summarize in few words. There are 4 things to be known scientifically. First, what the world is. Second, who we are. Third, who is the principle of God, who is controlling the world and ourselves. And fourth, what is that independent principle on which this world, the soul and the God are existing. Unless these 4 things are clearly recognized, we will be carrying the load of life. And when we carry the load of life, we can never be happy in life. Therefore, to unload this, what is the first requirement? Do we have the qualification? This point I have brought to you a number of times. Unlike the government of India, there is no quota system in harvesting happiness in life. Isn't it? There should be 70% reservation for the dumbos. Similarly, there should be 95% reservation for realization for the married grihasthas. There are unmarried grihasthas also? Yes. I'll give an example of unmarried grihastha. Unmarried grihastha was Pitamaha Bhishma. In the whole of Mahabharata, if somebody has really suffered the most, it was Pitamaha Bhishma. So, if we really want to get out of this, we have to have that qualification. And when we are qualified, then all these 4 things will be very evidently clear to us. And then you see, the quality of life will change 180 degrees. I was just talking before coming over here with a cup of black coffee. What is done through our satsang that we are doing for last so many years is only one. बुरी नजर वाले अपनी नजर टेस्ट करा ले. All that is required. देखो मगर समझदारी से. प्यार से मत देखना. प्यार से देखोगे तो प्यार में गिरोगे. Don't look at the world with love. You'll fall in love. People very rarely rise in love. They fall. So what is that which will make us qualified? And these qualifications are given in the 16th chapter. Thus, when we are qualified to look at something, our perception is totally different from the unqualified people. If you remember, I told you, a boy goes to the medical college. From day one, he is addressed by the people at home, Daksab. D-O-G-S-A-B. तो डॉक्टर साहब आ गए, डॉक्टर साहब चले गए, डॉक्टर साहब को खाना दो. So that doctor साहब, before he entered the medical college, he was looking at the people as human beings. After he goes through the discipline of medicine and disease, he starts looking at the people not as human beings, but as the patients. Something has changed in him. About this I will tell you, this is very important theme that I am talking to you. Once I went to one medical college for lecture. After my lecture was over, one student came and he said, Swamiji, I have got problem, but all our professors and doctors, they tell there is no problem. So I am suffering. Will you please help me? I said, what is your problem? He said, I feel that there is something wrong with my heart. But the doctor said, no, it is perfectly alright. But I am feeling something wrong. I don't know what to do. Is it psychological? I said, no, it is not psychological. Then it is illogical. How it is illogical? I said, tell me, what are you studying these days in your course? Swamiji, we are studying cardiovascular system. Very good. When are you going to start the renal system? He said, next month. Next month, your heart will be alright. You will have a kidney stone. After that is over, then the next time you start your digestive system and you will have a gallbladder stone. And when you will come to the CNS, central nervous system, you will have something wrong with your brain. And when you will study oncology, you will feel your whole body is a big cancer on the society. Therefore, our mind becomes so much influence that anything in this world that is happening to me. Therefore, we have to prepare ourselves. And the preparation gives us the qualification. And with the prepared approach, when you look at the world, then you will see what was said in the 15th chapter. How we are essentially divine. See, the moment we discover this, we are essentially divine. All the problems disappear. The divine thought, I am all alone, I cannot go everywhere to everybody. So he created mother. The devil thought, I am all alone, I cannot go everywhere. So what to do? He created mother-in-law. So, that Lord, that I am, when you discover, your life will be a divine life. But when you nurture that deviliness, then the life is nothing but a terrible torture. And for that, we have to undergo certain disciplines. Like to become a medical doctor, what is required? First, you should not know mathematics. Isn't it? One mother brought her son to me. Swamiji, you please tell what he should become, engineer or doctor. I said both are useless. Let him become broker. He can break somebody's head, somebody's neck, something like that. So, No, please tell something between these two. We want to have a choice. I said, okay, come, I'll take it interview. I said, please tell. 27 minus 9. How much? He started doing like this. I said, what is this? Your brain is spread all over the body or what? Then you don't remember something into 27, like that you do, but you start like this thing, what is this? He says, Swamiji, I am seeing my calculator. I said, very good, you have replied. Why? You become a medical doctor. So we have to have the qualification. Now what is the qualification? This is what Bhagavan starts from the first verse of this 16th chapter. So before we enter, I just summarize what I told so far. Many times people listen to me and they say, Swamiji, you tell so many stories, so many jokes, and the main important point we miss. So that should not happen. Therefore I am telling again that if our life is not concluded with fulfillment, we were only carrying the load of life. Now why this happens? Because we have not known our own identity, the world, what it is, where we suffer. So all this, although we go to Satsang, although we can deliver lectures, although people suspect wisdom in us, and yet, in the heart of our heart, we know that there is something wrong somewhere. Why this happens is only because we have not prepared ourselves. There is a saying, I have not done this. The milk of a tigress can be held only in the golden pot, it is said. I have neither seen the tigress nor her milk. So, if you milk a tigress in any other pot, that pot breaks, it is said. In the same manner, this divine wisdom cannot be contained in a stupid mind. So you got the reply? In spite of our being professional in going to Satsang, in spite of our being regular, what is that because of which this joy and the beauty of Bhagavad Gita does not express through us in its full glory? What is the reason? The reason is our instrument is not yet prepared. Once the instrument is prepared, we will be the chosen few through whom the divine will manifest in his full glory. So all that we have to do now is, we are toward the end of Bhagavad Gita. Enough of looking outside. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturabhu ma te sangastva karmani. Enough. But is it not our duty towards our children? Spare them. Is it not our duty towards the nation? You have done your duty, destroying as much as you can. Enough. Now, don't we have duty towards ourselves? So when the duty towards ourselves is kindled in our heart, understand, God's grace is showering on us. And for that purpose, we begin this 16th chapter. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Bhagavan begins this chapter without being asked by Arjuna. Do you know why? Because this is my experience, I tell you. I am talking to you only from experience. Anubhav. You know what is the experience? Experience is this. When many times, people come and ask me something, so my first condition is, listen, have I called you? No. You have come on your own? Yes. Now, if you are here to discuss with me and argue with me, I am not available. I have no discussions, I have no arguments, I have no logic, I have no justification, and I do not want you to be my disciple or my Bhagavad. So you have come on your own? Yes. Now, second step. Whatever I will tell, that you listen quietly, practice in your life or disappear. There is no argument. If you argue once, you are deleted. When I said like this, one person, after that person was over, he said, Swamiji, I am not asking you regarding this. Frightened. But I just want to know, because when you tell, you are telling so emphatically that it really goes in me what you are telling. I understand. And this is the right way. But what is that you are so much particular about it? Then I told him, I said, listen, whenever any thought is from the springboard of the divine proximity, that thought contains the meaning of the thought. And when any thought which is born from the springboard of matter, that thought contains only the reflection of that object, not the original one. Again, I explain to you, very subtle. When you want to kiss a child or a person, you kiss him or her. You have your experience. And when you kiss the reflection of that child or a person in the mirror, do you get the same experience? No. When the thought begins from pure consciousness, it is a life force. But when the thought begins from the mind, it is a destructive force. And therefore, it is extremely necessary that we function from the platform of consciousness and not from the platform of thoughts alone. Be extremely attentive. The language with which I am talking to you is called as Vaikhari Vani, where the thought of the object and the object of the thought, they are separate from each other. For example, book. Now the book is a thought, and this book in my hand is the object. So book thought and book object, when they are separate from each other, it is called as the Vaikhari Vani, and this is our experience in the waking world. Therefore, only by reading the menu, hunger is not satiated. Isn't it? Suppose you are hungry, 1 kilo rasgulla, 2 kilo dhokla, enough. No, this does not happen. Second thing, where the object and the thought, both of them are thoughts. That is a subtler existence. Like when we dream, We dream that I have gone to the office and my boss in the waking state has become my subordinate. And I am scolding him left and right. And he's shivering more than I used to shiver before him. So there, I, the one, and the boss, the one, both of them are only thoughts, not in reality. Second condition, second state, second layer of subtlety. We go one step further. A stage comes in our knowledge where the thought and the object of the thought, they are not yet differentiated. Please understand these three stages. Object of the thought and the thought of the object separate from each other. Vaikhari Vani, waking experience. Second stage, where the object of the thought and the thought of the object, both of them are of the nature of thought alone. Dreaming or daydreaming. The third stage, where the object of the thought and the thought of the object are not yet differentiated. The third stage is called as the Pashyanti Vani according to the scriptures. So the mind exists at four levels. The gross mind is with which we conduct ourselves in this gross world. The subtle mind is that where we conduct the experiences of life. And the subtler than this subtle mind is the Pashyanti Vani, where the object and the thought are not separate. If this is understood. Now I'll come to the point what I wanted to say. When we live in this world, we are living at a periphery of our personality called as lips. So our is a lip sympathy. When we say somebody, I love you, nothing happens. Or something wrong happens. I tell you one example. And I was so surprised. This happened in England recently. I was having my camp there, meditation camp, Kaivalya Upanishad. And I was so thrilled. All those people were so sincerely chanting Kaivalya Upanishad. They have learnt in 3 days. Day and night sitting together and started Om Bhadrang Karane Vishnuyam Deva. So, second day, one lady came. She is a yoga teacher somewhere. She said, Swamiji, tell me something which will touch my heart. I said, listen. Yes. I love you. And to my surprise, she started crying. When she started crying, I didn't stop. I said, let her clean her eyes. That is the only way. Afterwards, she said, Swamiji, this I love you I have heard from so many people. Nothing has happened. Now what has happened? Then I told her, I said, look here, there is a Hindi song in India. Pyar kiya nahi jata, ho jata hai. When the love happens, it touches the heart. And how it can happen? Only when the words and the meaning, they are not separate. When the Mahatmas live in this world, they operate from Pashyanti Vani. And when they operate from the Pashyanti Vani, whatever they say has to happen. Because the position from where they are talking is a position where the thought and the meaning of the thought are not separate. See the difference. To reach to that stage will not happen as an accident, but you have to work for that. And that is called as spiritual practice. And when we practice this in our life, then we will come to know Yasmat Ksharmatitoham Aksharada Vitottamaha Atosmi Loke Vede Cha Prathitaha Purushottamaha. Because I am beyond the relativity, I am called as absolute. And what is this absolute? This absolute is discovered not as an objective understanding, but a subjective experience. To come to this subjective experience is all the spiritual practice. Therefore, scientific art of living life is live your life in the outer world in such a manner that your inner beauty grows with every interaction in the outer world. When our inner purification grows more and more with every external interaction, then we are spiritual seekers. And if it happens the other way, with every additional interaction with the world, we gather more and more garbage. Then what happens? We grow old, not wise. What is that which makes some people grow wise and some people grow otherwise? What is the reason? Those who grow wise, they have learned from every experience of their life. And those who have nothing except regrets, complaints about the world, they have learned nothing from their life. Therefore, friends, this is one of the most important aspects of our lifestyle, by which we live in the outer world, but we grow wise. When we live in the outer world, growing wise, we are preparing ourselves to discover the absolute reality. Unless that is attained, our life will never be fulfilled. And therefore, what is the whole process of purification? He is said in this 16th chapter. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Now Bhagavan begins. He enumerates in the first 3 verses a number of qualities, and each one of them is worthy of deep contemplation. Abhayam sattva samshuddhihi jnana yoga vyavasthitihi danam damascha yajnascha swadhyayastapa arjavam ahimsa satyam akrodha tyaga shantirapaisunam daya bhuteshvaloluptvam mardavam dhira chapalam teja kshama dhruti shaucham adroho natimanita bhavanti sampadam daivim abhijatasya bharata. Bharata, O Indian. See, one thing we should all be clear, Indians. India has been the land of spiritual foundation. Therefore, we should focus attention on this path. And it is natural for us. You will see our people of Indian origin. For them, whatever they may go astray here and there, ultimately they again come back to the same spiritual path. So, hey Bharata, Bharata means what? He who is reveling in wisdom is called as Bharat. Therefore, all Indians are wise. Those who live in India. Clause. So, which are those qualities which make us wise? The first, Abhayam. The other day, it happened somewhere in the Western world. I went to somebody's house, Gujarati house, for taking food. And such a fresh food. I was so surprised. Because, in the Western world, Western world depends on www.com, is it not? So, the latest technology in the West is FFF.food. Means what? Fresh from fridge. FFF. So, fresh from fridge food is the overdeveloped nations. When I went to their house, it was fresh food. I said, Amma, something wrong with you? No, what happened? I said, everything fresh, what is wrong? Because in this country, this is January, this is February, this is they live in history and see their geography, horrible. So, after nice breakfast was over, she has prepared, I was so thrilled to eat, that Dakor ka gota. Aha. Eating that in America was a great treat, Otherwise you get disgusted with that sandwiches and all witches around. I don't know what are other witches. So, after that was over, then she says, Swamiji, I have some question. I said, I know without that you have not called me for food. Because in USA there is a rule, there is nothing like free dinner. I said, all right, ask. And the question was, Swamiji, you have come over here and we like you very much. You have never told us, don't go to this satsang, don't go to that satsang. On the contrary, you have always encouraged us. Go and learn from whatever source you can learn. Don't follow the path. Follow the Lord. Don't bother whether you are taking allopathy, homeopathy, naturopathy or the Ayurveda. Don't bother about it. Focus attention on your health. That is important. In the same manner, hold on to the Lord. Don't get caught up. This sampradaya, that Babaji, this BBG. No. Hold on to the Lord. And whenever you get something, go ahead. Get it and walk away. But when we go to some satsang, we are threatened. If you do this thing, you are doing Guru Droha. You have taken Diksha from us, you have learned everything from us, and you go to other Mahatma Satsang, you are doing Guru Droha. And as a result of this Guru Droha, you will go to hell. Swamiji, tell me what I should do. I said, don't worry. Why? I said, if the disciple goes to the hell, Guru will have to go there to lift him up. So it is in the interest of the Guru that he doesn't allow the disciple to go to hell, or you also come there. Then I said, look here. Anybody who will create fear and guilt in your mind, whether it is a religion, whether it is a Mahatma, whether it is a sannyasi, whether it is a book, or whether it is anything, they are your enemy number one. Please understand this. This is the basic principle. Because these are the only two negative forces by which we can have a remote control over masses. Masses don't have wisdom. Masses are messes. And in that what happens? That if I have to control a huge crowd of people, what will I do? From remote distance, I will create some kind of fear in you. Suppose I am a Vaishnava. Thank God I am not. Suppose. Suppose I am a Vaishnava. And I want you all to be also branded with the same brand. Full stop. And the, what you call, Tulasi Mark. Then what will I do? I will tell, look here, you have to follow these rules and regulations. If you don't follow this, you will be punished. And then, Kakataliya Nyaya. Suppose something happens. Swamiji, I don't know, suddenly I was coming and my legs, slipped and I fell down and there was a fracture. Ekadashi kari thi? Nahi. Now that Ekadashi will break your one leg. If it is Dwadashi, both the legs gone. And thereafter, that fellow is booked for life. I can't do anything. Please remember, anything that will create fear in you is the wrong way. This is how the huge crowds can be put together. Fear. Or, if you do this, you will go to hell. Now what is that hell? Nobody has seen. One day one person came and said, Swamiji, you please save me. I said, okay, saved. He said, what from? I said, I don't know. You ask, I saved. Now his problem was, Swamiji, I have done so many bad things in my life. I don't know what will happen to me. I don't want to go to hell. I have heard about it a lot. I don't want to go to hell. Probably he was a Sindhi. So, I said, no, you will not go to hell, don't worry. He said, how come I will not go to hell? I said, where are you now? Those who are living in fear, they are already in hell. See? First method, to control the masses. Second method, to control the individuals. Individuals are controlled by the inoculum of guilt. That is why they talk the language of confession. If you have done something, come and tell me. And you go and tell with all sincerity, sir, I should not have done this thing, but I have killed so many people and all that. Never mind. Now I will talk to the Lord and apply little bit but Amul butter, everything will be alright. Next time you go to that person, you are already guilty because you have told him everything. And thus you start leading your life in guilt. Those Mahatmas, those paths which will create these two things in your mind, fear and guilt, they are your enemy number one. Be very clear about it. That heart or that mind, it is carrying the load of fear and guilt. He is not a fit heart for the reception of the divinity and the divine wisdom. Therefore, I told that Amma, I said, look here Amma, you don't bother for anything. What do you want in this world? Paramatma or a sampradaya? Paramatma or a particular person? Hold on to the principle, not to the personality. And the principle is Paramatma, the supreme reality, the absolute self. Nothing short of this we need in this world. Once you are clear about all this, you will see the very quality of your life will undergo metamorphosis. And that is why the first and the most important thing, Abhayam. Abhayam, freedom from fear. Now see, fear can be a constructive force as well as a destructive force. When fear is a constructive force, adopt it in your life. But when fear becomes a destructive force, then avoid that in your life. For example, if I am afraid of my father or mother, that if they come to know that I smoke, and if they come to know, they will become very angry or they will become hurt, and therefore I don't smoke. So this fear that my parents will get hurt and therefore I don't smoke, this fear is a constructive fear. Now see, another example. The fear that I am going to Satsang and therefore I am a black sheep in our own house, and everybody is constantly trying to find out a reason to pull my leg down, and if I become angry, then all the kids and everybody in the house, they will come together. Hey, don't disturb. Don't you know, Mummy goes for Gita classes. In the Gita class it is taught, you should become angry with the children. Don't you understand? Keep quiet. When you listen this from your own children, you become more and more angry. Therefore, if we are walking the spiritual path, we should be afraid that our behavior should not bring something bad to the great science of life. That will protect us from ourselves. Therefore, fear, if it is constructive, must be adopted in life. Abhayam. Bhaya is fear. Abhayam, fearlessness. Now, fearlessness about what? Anything which is discovered to be wrong, maybe we are following that for years together, nay, for lives together. Once it is discovered, this is wrong, we should be fearless to reject it. No, but what people will say, Hindi cinema song, कुछ तो people कहेंगे. They will say something, don't worry about it. If you really want to walk the spiritual path and really make the best of your life, don't get carried away by what people will say. Are you convinced? Leave that knowledge. Abhayam. Now see, this example I'll give you to make this point deeper. This I told you last time, again I am repeating it, because by God's grace you must have forgotten. See, we see so many dreams. Out of the dreams, no dream personality is created. Contemplate on this one thought that will make your all spiritual practice complete. Only one thought. If so many dreams we have experienced, dream personality is not formed, so many waking experiences we have had, how come a waking personality is formed? See? That is why my definition of ego is like this. HIV virus, biological virus. Computer virus, logical virus. Bio has gone. Logical virus. Ego is illogical virus. There is no logic. Take one by one, I enumerate, see what logic is there. Do you like dhokla? No. But why? There is no why. See? For liking or disliking, there is no reason. Think. And our whole life is lived under the influence of likes and dislikes. What logic is there? The second logic, if many dream experiences do not create many personalities or one personality, how many waking experiences can create one personality? Not logical, yet we hold on to that. Third, we know this is bad, and yet we do. What is the logic in that? No logic. And yet we continue with that. And we all consider ourselves to be a very intelligent, highly progressive society, living under the influence of height of foolishness. Therefore, abhayam, fearlessness, is the expression of the divinity in you. Once we have discovered this is wrong, maybe you are following it for last 100 years, drop it fearlessly. See, in Kenopanishad this mantra comes. Yan manasana manute, yena ahur manomatam, tadeva brahmatvam vidhi, nedam yadidam upasate. You have been doing a lot of spiritual practice, puja, poti, upasana, chanting, and all arti and chapan bhog, very good. That was to keep the world in peace. When you are busy, the world is at peace. You don't know the techniques of this Mahatmas. They tell, Amma, you take this mantra, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and chant 36 malas per day. Now she is booked for 24 hours. When she is booked for 24 hours, all the people in the house, they come and do namaskar to you. Maharajji, you have saved us. Why? Now that Amma is busy. Now she doesn't disturb us. Abhayam. Once you are clear about it, that this is all external things, discard it. And you can discard something only fearlessly. Therefore, abhayam, fearlessness. Second thing. Our life should be such, when we take sannyas, we have to do one sankalpa. There is one viraja homa, where we do our shraddha. And before doing our shraddha, therefore, for all practical purposes, we are dead. And I don't know why people do the namaskar to the dead body. Maybe the people do namaskar only to the dead body. Not to the living one. You will see, all these politicians, enemies of each other. But when the dead body is lying there, they'll go and offer flower and this. But when the same person was alive, aha, today I discovered this. Why people do us namaskar? Because we are already dead. We can do nothing about it. So, when we are given this diksha, we are told, let the whole world have freedom from fear as regards we are concerned. Let nobody be afraid of us. That is real spiritual growth. Many times we have this funny notion. One person, a Maharashtrian, in Dadar, he came and he was talking to me. Swamiji, our house and family is extremely disciplined. I said, very good. I didn't want to know further. Because in that discipline, if I don't fit, I will be thrown out. I said, never mind. He said, when I come home, everybody is quiet. They are busy with their studies. Nobody talks. TV off, radio off, tape recorder off, iPod off. Do you know iPod? See, high tech. So, everything is quiet. Because they know when dad comes, he doesn't tolerate all that. I said, thank God you told me. I will also start behaving in your house. He said, no, not only for you. It's okay. Now I was surprised. Do you like to have your picture like this? That when you come home, all the children, all the wives, and not only one. So, all the children, the wife, and everybody in the house is absolutely quiet. Are you Hitler or what? What should be the home? When they are fighting, crying and all that, the moment they know, hey, Dad has come, everything is forgotten and there is a celebration of Diwali. That should be the life. Abhayam. Let nobody have fear from us. Otherwise, many times you must have seen, Mahatmas means everybody is sitting. The other day I went to somebody's house and Gujarati house. They have prepared our Bombay chaat. In that they have put, this onion also, kacha kanda, everything is prepared. And so many people give something or the other, and one lady brought and gave it to me. And she gave it to me. The other lady saw that a Mahatma is not supposed to eat the garlic and onion and all that. So she kept. Why did you give? This is not the right thing. And that poor young girl who brought it, she was feeling so guilty. As if she has done the highest sin. So I called her oldie. I said, Amma, with great luck, I got this thing to eat. You old people don't allow me to live my life. Who told you I don't like kanda? I like it. But no. Mahatmas, they don't sit on the table. They sit below the table. They don't eat with the spoon. They directly graze like the buffalo. They don't take the, any other glass. They take only the Chandika glass. And Chandika glass, that is a torture that the people give us. You try one day. Take Chandika glass, silver glass, and put tea in that and take. Once I did in my life, your lips are burned. It is so hot. Then she said, no, it's not. She doesn't know. Therefore, I told that, normally Mahatmas don't take kanda. I said, I'm a abnormal Ananda. I'm not normal. Then one thing I told, I said, Amma, look here. We are supposed to eat the gali given by you, is it not? Kanda is better than gali. Let there be no fear from us to anybody. Then alone our individuality is dissolved. The moment there is the fear. Oh, Swamiji is scared. Shant bada. Oh, tufan aaya kya? Therefore, abhayam. This is the highest charity we can give in this world. Just imagine. Anywhere you go in this world, everybody is desirous of your presence. Why? Because they are not afraid of you. Abhayam. That quality of mind is the quality wherein the divine descends. Where there is fear, where there is disgust, the divine will not come. Now, as much people should not be afraid of us, so much we should not be afraid of anybody or anything. Be very, very clear about it. Never lead a fearful existence. And if we do not lead a fearful existence, the following things happen. One, you don't justify your life. The moment we are justifying everything, we are doubtful about our own life. And when we are doubtful about our own life, we are not leading the life straight. There is some kind of fear inside. What people will say, I think something will happen. No. Neither anybody should be afraid of us, nor we are afraid of anything. In that atmosphere of fearlessness alone, that the divine descends. Abhayam. So this is the first quality. In Patanjali Yoga Darshan, for the Manda Adhikari, for the lowest category of the spiritual seekers, there are 8 states given. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. These are the 8 states through which one has to go through. Then alone a perfect control over mind can be attained, called as Sayyama. So we start from the Yama and end up in Sayyama. These 8 states together is called as Ashtanga Yoga. In this first state, Yama Sadhana, the first discipline is Ahimsa. What is said there through the word Ahimsa is said here through the word Abhayam, where the fear is not the atmosphere where we function, Abhayam. Now the second quality, which is required so that we create the right kind of instrument to allow the divinity to express through us. And the second is Sattva Samshuddhi. If you see some of my books on the back side, in that Parichaya introduction, this point is given, where we have mentioned, don't struggle to have the vision of God. Then let the God manifest through us. That is the goal of life. If you have the vision of God, dekh liya, tukur, how long? Afterwards, excuse me, 9:32 local is coming, go, and then you get into the bus. So, all spiritual practice is this. Let us allow the divine to express through us. Now, you are all sitting here. I am just giving this an example. You are all sitting here to listen to me. That's what I say. I am just giving this an example. Listen to me. Between you and me, there is an agency called as the mic. Mic means the karya of Maya. It's called a mic. Now what this mic is supposed to do? Convey to you the same thing what I am talking, only by amplification. Amplification is not editing. Isn't it? Nothing is added, nothing is subtracted. But instead of doing this job, if this mic starts his own electronic onkar, or if this mic starts his own sounds, sometimes they do, that time what we do? We remove the mic and throw it away, because he is not a fit instrument through which I can reach you. If this example is clear, the Lord wants to reach His creation. Like my limitation is, although I can talk, but my voice is not that amplified which can reach the last person. So I take the help of the mic. In the same manner, the Lord wants to talk, but He doesn't have the mouth. He wants to help, but He doesn't have the hands. He wants to think, but He doesn't have the mind. Because ekameva dvitiya neha nanasti kinchana. In the absolute, there are no conditionings required for relativity. So what that Lord is doing now? He is constantly in a search to find out an instrument through which He can express. Every time he lives and dials our number. The orange that you have dialed has gone to the apple. Out of reach. Then again the Lord is waiting. Therefore, Sattva Samshuddhihi. Sattva Samshuddhihi is purification of our mind to such an extent that the absolute reality is able to manifest through us 100% without any compromise. That quality of purification. See, the fuel or the various spacecrafts which go and land on the moon or on the Mars, and we have to say, yes, they landed on Mars. Who knows what is happening? It could be a studio shot, and then they got down. Recently, I saw one movie. There they showed how this the first man landing on moon by Americans was a bluff. It has never happened. But they were always in competition with the Russians and they wanted to show. So they made the whole thing in a studio and presented to the world. Now who is going to evaluate whether it is in a Hollywood, Disneyland or whether it is actual? Sattva Samshuddhihi. The heart has to be so pure. How much pure? These spacecrafts, when they land, they are so meticulously calculated that 0.00001 microsecond defect is not acceptable. Then only the landing is perfect. In the same manner, our heart has to be so pure. Sattva Samshuddhihi. Once the heart is pure, through that pure heart alone, the divinity can express in its full glory. And that is the purpose. Now the question comes, what is the meaning of pure heart? Pure heart, does it mean it doesn't have the WBCs? Only the RBCs? No white cells, pure red cells. Why? Pure heart. No. Does it mean that the pure heart means that heart which does not have anything inside other than the heart, no blood? No. So what is the correct meaning of pure heart? This is the topic, and when we understand what is the meaning of the pure heart, then only we can start working on that. These are the words which are used without any meaning. When we say some word without a meaning, it is a noise. Like Tattvamasi, biggest noise. Aham Brahmasmi, super noise. Isn't it? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Not Om is known, Bhagavate is not known. One Punjabis are very sweet people. One Punjabi was arguing with me. Shivratri, and he was sitting with a harmonium and started. Om Namo Shivaya, Om Namo Shivaya. I said, Prabhu, Om Namah Shivaya. की फर्क पैदा ओम नमो भगवते ओम नमो शिवाय ऐसे देखो तोड़ फोड़ मत करो ये पंजाबी नहीं है यू नो पंजाबी वेयर द जोड़ाक्षर इज तोड़ा एंड जोड़ाक्षर इज जोड़ा इज कॉल्ड पंजाबी बरेली को बरेली कहेंगे स्टेशन को स्टेशन कहेंगे जरूरत है सो व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ सत्व संशुद्धि प्यूरिफिकेशन ऑफ द हार्ट That understanding will help us grow pure within. That we'll take in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.